It was good. Let's go. Hey guys, how you doing? My name is Hero. This is Coding with Strangers, and I went to the Code and Coffee event in Chicago, and I gotta say, I had a really good time. For all you guys that are new here, I usually do my reviews in three forms. I give the good, the bad, and the truth. Just a little bit about myself. I'm in the tech sphere. I come from a medical background. I'm transitioning into the world of tech. And if, like you've probably applied to 100 jobs this week. You've probably applied to thousands of jobs, and it's just become the monotony of ghost job, not getting the things, not having the qualifications. And while it's not any particular fault, I want you to realize that you're trying to get a job, but you're going about it the wrong way. You're trying to get work, but you need to start thinking about how to solve problems. And going to these type of events is one of the most important things you can do when trying to find a job, because you're going to run into people who are solving problems. And when you have the ability to solve problems, you have the ability to get paid for knowing how to solve problems. And if you want me to, cover more about my trials and tribulations in the whole finding a job market in this trash bag market, let me know. Put it in the comment section below. I'll be glad to talk about some trash bag stories I've gone through. But we're going to take this from the top. Let's start with the good. First and foremost, as a Chicago kid, I take pride in my city. Summertime Shy is undefeated, and it stands to reason our downtown is probably, bar none, one of the best in the country. Even outside the country, I think we stand on a leg of our own. But it was brought to my attention that Code and Coffee has been around for about 3 years. And if my memory serves me correctly, it was brought up in Boston or the East Coast area, and it started migrating over. It took off probably 3 years, so probably around the pandemic, things probably started to take off, and I find it to be really interesting. So, of course, with my city being so great, we also have some great establishments, and it's kind of mind-boggling to me that I've walked past this cafe and never once thought to go in, maybe because it has the Capital One logo on it, so I just saw it as a bank. But walk in, and it's definitely more of a coffee and chill space, and the ground floor is where a lot of the general population congregates, and I believe the events that are held on the second floor. There were people there studying for what I could tell was an architect. There were people there making plans for a real estate venture. There were people there watching Power Rangers Go on the internet that's readily available. People were there to get coffee, and to my surprise, 2 tellers in the back ready to open up any checking account, bank account, credit card account that you had, even having mortgage availability to talk about that. So I found all of those things to be almost creative, and I think you don't really know how well things blend and mesh together from different demographics and groups, but I mean, that's what Chicago is. It's a melting pot of just things that shouldn't work out, but they always tend to in some strange way. So I'm not mad at it. It was just an observation. It was definitely one of the more bright spots on a place that I literally drive by and walk by at least twice a month. To know that I could go in there and pop a seat up and just kind of people watch and even, dare I say, do some work is kind of exciting and nice to know. Great location, great view, overlook over the city. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. And I think it goes without saying, one of the better parts of this whole event had to have been the host. I believe John, Austin, and Juan were the main founders or co-founders of the whole event. John was the primary host there. In addition to Hansu, and the guest speaker were Chef's Kiss. Brian gave one of the better speeches I've ever heard on the internet. And as a person who's just getting into my web dev journey, it's kind of shocking to see how many paths I've crossed in their process of learning how the internet would work ultimately. How many steps I actually had to take in order to cross those appropriate paths. I was thoroughly impressed with his presentation, and definitely it needs to be up on a YouTube. Brian, have you put this on it? Brian, you better have a YouTube video. You better have this on somebody's YouTube video, okay? But it was great work, informative, and the host did a great job of catering to the group of people they were talking to. The meet and greet started with a 15-minute introduction of every single person in there. There was supposed to be, looking on the website, there was supposed to be 151 people there. I felt like there was more of a 60 to 80 people, 60 constant, 80 in total. People left, people came, stuff like that. And to go through it, you quickly found out, and I love when people do this because it quickly gives you a lay of the land. And if I'm just using the numbers that I jotted down while I was there, I would say 80% of the people there were students. 5% were meaningfully looking for connections or to hire someone. 10% was staff or the people that were giving out information. And I tend to lean towards them being appropriate as they were there to give information to people. So it makes sense that they would be people who could connect you. So I consider them meaningful connections. So 15% total. And then another 5% for people who were just there building something or had an idea and were looking for people to look at their ideas, looking for feedback, so to speak. So that was sort of the breakup of the demographics and the type of people that you would meet there. I also really enjoyed the social hour. I found myself falling into a role that I normally fall into, which is giving my expertise. As a person who's transitioned careers 3 times now, I kind of have a lot of experience, which is, throwing caution to the wind and doing whatever I want to do. Because you can do whatever you want to do. That's the secret. No one tells you that, but you can literally do whatever you want to do. Probably not going to be the easiest thing to do. Bench pressing 400 pounds just probably isn't in the cards for you. But no one's going to stop you from trying. So go after it if you want it. And I think above all else, the thing that was most likable about this event is obviously the code and the coffee. Quality coffee. I was surprised at the variety they had, and the little muffins and trinkets were all great. Firm cuts, good delectable pieces. They had the bright combinations of blueberries in the muffins. As you can tell, I'm a connoisseur of good snacks and wholehearted meals, but above all else, it was the ultimate icebreaker, and I have to commend the staff once again, John and his staff, sort of an infectious way of getting people to open up and get out of their shells. A lot of people in the tech space probably don't feel as comfortable talking in open, and this setting, this situation, and this setup makes it much easier for people to come out of their shells and talk amongst themselves. Great sort of banter and conversations that went on there. So I really appreciate that. But for all good things in life, there has to be some bad. We call that balance. So let's talk about the bad. Look, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I don't really have anything negative per se to say about this event. The event said and did what it wanted to do. It gave us a platform to be able to do it. Let's move on to the truth, right? So the truth is, on record, it said that there was supposed to be 151 people there. The vibe that I got was about 60 to 80 people in the room at any given time. 60 consistent, 80 max. And I'll be quite frank with everybody. This was a young crowd. At one point, I had amassed a group of 4 or 5 people, undergrad, masters, in CS, asking me for advice. I have 3 degrees and none of them have anything to do with computer science. If anything, these people have the golden eye of experience with their degrees backing them. But if you're coming here as a business professional, someone who's probably transitioning, someone has 5 years of experience already, you will come here, but you will come here for expertise from the staff and the 5% of people that came here looking to make meaningful connections. You're going to have a very straight shot conversation with these individuals. And once that conversation is over, to sit around and mingle dictates that you are interested in, probably breathing life into the generation, the children are our future. Treat them well and let them lead the way type stuff, Another thing that escalated to concern for me was this was hosted by Capital One. And Capital One gave us this great space. Capital One had their staff on site. There was a part of me that honestly felt like we had a missed opportunity here. For us to be in Capital One, in the hub of downtown Chicago, and not have a hiring manager, an IT specialist, or someone, a recruiting manager or a recruiter on site to just gather the information of everyone who was there. Like, what better way? Like, I'm giving away free game right now. What better way to, the whole solve problems? You had a curated list of 151 people, and then you got the 151 people to basically curate themselves to 60 people from all different walks and spaces of background, and you get to know their backgrounds, their goals and aspirations, and influence them, and even give on-the-spot recruitment advice to these individuals to apply to positions that you have readily available and open. I'll snap right now, and this is how many jobs in the IT space or software tech space that Capital One has open right now. And I'm willing to guess this is over 100 positions available. And nobody was there to talk about it. No one was there to capitalize on this. You see what I did there? Yeah, that's good. That you see. My next life, I'm going into comedy. I promise. Another thing that I really thought was strange, and I don't want to be that guy, but where were the ladies? I got my hair did for y'all. I put on my nice shirt. I took a shower. I put on the best cologne I could find, aka Walmart's finest, and all I got were compliments from males. And who am I to not take a compliment? But ladies, where were you? We missed you. It was pretty bad ratio. If there was 100 people there, I would say there was only 10 women there, including the staff. So I was kind of shocked not to see women there, especially because of how big women are in STEM. And maybe it was just an off day, but even looking at the sign-up sheet of the 151, it fluctuated greatly. Maybe 30% of those people on that 151 maybe list were women. And, I don't think that this was because the space wasn't appropriate, and I can almost guarantee to the best of my ability that this wasn't because it didn't feel like an accommodating and welcoming space. I just think that the reach wasn't there. And it's pretty clear whenever you don't have the capacity to get a diverse group of people, it means that your messaging isn't all the way corrected. I heard about this from one of my male friends. That's why I showed up. And I'm assuming of the people who were brand new, they heard from a friend of a friend. So if I do come out to another event, my goal would be to bring a group of women with me to help elevate that. I think there needs to be a bigger push in that avenue, into that direction. I'm hoping it was just, this is a new thing. It will grow. And one day I'll be on this camera screaming, damn it, I missed the old Code and Coffee when it was just people giving me compliments. Now they got all these women there and I can't get a compliment. I hope that's a problem they have in the future, honestly. We're almost at the end of the video. I've given you the good, I've given you the bad, and I've given you the truth. But how do I feel about the whole situation? I'll be back. My goal is to come back. I made meaningful connections with a few people who I feel can help progress and move me in the right direction. And on top of that, there's going to be a time here where maybe my goal of becoming a programmer or a software developer for a big time company goes away. And then I become a facilitator of product managers, of software developers, of data engineers, and I find them problems because I am good at solving problems. And maybe I should stop pushing against the grain and just go out there and solve some problems. This platform gave me the ability to see a lot of people have skills, but they don't have problems. I think that this is a place that a lot of the problems I want to solve, I can solve here. So I'll continue to grow. I'll continue to go. But let me know, have you looked into Code with Coffee? This isn't a sponsored video or anything, but if you're a programmer, you find yourself wanting to find community, and not just on the internet, just not on Discord, not on LinkedIn, the place where job resumes go to die. If you truly want to make genuine connections, you should look into going to get some coffee and talk about code with Code and Coffee. It was a great time. I would highly recommend it, and you'll probably see me there if you're in the Chicagoland area. That's all I got right now. If you guys like this content, like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you on the other side.